So largely why I'm bringing these matters up is because things getting so shaky right now, hard to pay bills and virtually impossible. And people looking at me like, so what's the problem, dude? You know what I mean? What you mean you can't find a job and this, that, and the third? If it kind of all ties together, and if people don't understand what's going on and the conspiracies that are taking place and why they're taking place, I just look like some crazy dude, irresponsible, ain't going to work, subject to be outside in the streets, and people just not going to, people just won't take a grown man seriously like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm making these videos in an effort to explain what's going on and why things are so difficult and the consequences of not taking this ministry seriously. It is the true will of God. You can search the scriptures, look at my blog posts, I have detailed things out as best I could. Again, like in the book of Malachi, Job, where he states that, that what he says that the nation has been robbing them. And they're like, how have we been robbing you? He says in tithes and offerings, And then he goes and says to bring the entire tithe into the storehouse so there'll be food in my house. And see that I won't open up the floodgates of heavens and pour out a blessing on you. He said, and then he goes on to say that, and he will rebuke the devouring one for you. And it says, won't be any harm brought to your land or your vines in your field and things. So at the same time, while the enemy is doing all this conspiracy, grabbing land and stealing from us and stealing money and money that would have come to me and others, that would have contributed to the furtherance of this ministry. At the same time, they are threatening people, telling them not to contribute. So Jehovah says Jehovah of armies, he said that by bringing the entire tithe into the storehouse, he said he will rebuke the devouring one for you. So we had a catch, just like a catch-22. The enemy like to put people between a rock and a hard place and make it real hard to make decisions, So, and then people, naturally as Christians, we just gonna just trust in God to work it out. But at the same time, he says he will rebuke the devouring one for you, right? And then he goes on to say in the book of Malachi chapter 4, verse 5 and 6, that, this ministry doesn't follow through, then, he will strike the earth and devote it to destruction. So it's like we have our faith in him, and we know that he will always keep his promises, but faith without works is dead. He commands us to pick up our cross and carry it, It just comes with tribulations and trials and things, He tells us to bear one another's burdens, It's hard how the enemy puts us in these positions, in these predicaments where it's hard to make decisions. I'm sure people seeing this are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Some people don't. But can expect these things, but hopefully soon they'll pass. But as of right now, they are making things virtually next to impossible to continue on. But like I said in the previous video, it's just come time for me to bring this point up, you know, and seek contributions and actually have to talk about that part of the ministry, you know, the tithe and offerings and things. Also, it's not all about money all the time. Any resources are needed. Lawyers, mainly lawyers right now, even doctors and all sorts of people from all walks of life and professional life. But if anyone, you know, wants to volunteer their services or skills towards the ministry, you can reach me on my contact page. And there's also tithes and offering page up there where financial contributions can be made. Yeah, any little bit helps, but much is needed.